Hello, everyone. Welcome to Prophecy Watchers. Karen here with another Orlando Prophecy Summit update. The conference is just around the corner. I'm sure all of you are aware by now. We're very excited about it. We are sold out for in-person tickets, but we would love to invite you to join us for the on-demand streaming option. If you'd like to sign up, visit prophecywatchers.com, scroll down to the online streaming banner, and you'll be able to sign up there. $75, and you will have access to every single message over the entire weekend, and you'll be able to join us live as it's happening. So just getting to be a part of the conference, getting the information firsthand, it's really an amazing opportunity, a way to use technology in a way that is a blessing and a benefit to us, which is not so common nowadays. So I hope that you can join us. And I have the opportunity to speak with a lot of the conference speakers who are going to be giving presentations that weekend. And one of those speakers that I'm speaking with today is Andy Woods. Andy, thank you for joining us.
Hey, great to be here and looking forward to the conference.
Yeah, it's been a while since you've been able to attend a conference, and I'm so glad that you'll be back. One of my favorite memories of conferences is when you were on stage with Gary and seeing just that massive height difference. Is one of the best
Yeah.
memories of the conference. So I'm so glad that you'll be able to come back with us. And I was looking over the topics that you're going to be covering, and the first one is over a very obscure verse in Daniel 7:23, Daniel's warning, decoding the Daniel 7:23 prophecy. Tell us a little bit about that, because off the top of my head, I don't even remember what Daniel 7 is about, and so that's a very specific verse. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, in general, Daniel is almost tailor-made for our times. And it's one of those books that it's probably the most attacked book in Scripture because critics argue that Daniel couldn't have known what he knew ahead of time. And so they try to post-date the book of Daniel. It's a long kind of debate, but we believe Daniel knew things ahead of time because God revealed truth to him ahead of time. No problem for us. And one of the things Daniel spoke of very, very aggressively is the coming of a new world order, kind of a one world system of economics, politics, and religion that excludes God. And it's a form of government, Daniel 7 verse 23 says, that would envelop the whole earth, prior to the second advent of Jesus. And so I think if people understood that prophecy, we would understand a lot more, about the things happening in our world. I mean, why is there this tension, between nationalism and globalism suddenly on our political stage? Why is there the rise of the MAGA movement, which really is a reaction against globalism? I mean, why is that even there? Well, it's there because Daniel, said it would happen.
Yeah.
Why is the World Economic Forum, in Davos, why do they have these meetings where they plot over and over again to take away our sovereignty? Because Daniel said it would happen. So it's just kind of one of those talks where we, remind people of what Daniel said. And like I'm sure most of the presentations at the conference, the speakers are going to show how current events are lining up with what a prophets of God said literally 2,600 years ago.
It's so interesting that we believe in a God that is supernatural, and we have a book that he wrote for us, that he gave to us, that is supernatural, and yet all these critics don't want, we have all this proof that we have a God who is living, who is outside of time and space, and yet we don't want to give him the benefit of the doubt that he can supernaturally give information to a human and use his words to encourage and to bless and to guide us thousands of years after the fact. It's just another proof that the enemy is alive and trying to just make us doubt a God that really does have things under control, and that nothing that is happening in our day and age is concerning him or throwing him off or any of that. So I think it's so important to go to those biblical books that are based in prophecy and to really delve deeply, like you are, into those obscure verses, those obscure passages, and to bring them forward in those times of concern, because a lot of people are concerned about what's going on in the World Economic Forum and what's going to be happening in the next year, 5 years, 10 years, if they continue on this agenda. So that's a very timely word of encouragement and comfort that I'm sure everybody is going to be wanting to hear. And the second message that you're going to be talking about is, I think, really important. It is a really old battle between pre-trib, post-trib, mid-trib, that whole conversation. I was just thinking about this just yesterday, about how just understanding the Christian stance on that one topic can really kind of give you an idea for what their worldview is. So talk about I kind of gave it away, but talk about the second message you're going to be speaking about.
Yeah, it's a statement that Jesus made to the church at Philadelphia. And, he basically said, I will keep you, from the hour of trial or tribulation that's coming upon the whole earth. So what does that mean? And you're right, it's a huge battleground passage. I mean, does that mean we're going to be, as God's people, protected through the tribulation period, as some people say? Or does it mean we're going to be kept out of the time period, in totality? And obviously I'm going to argue, for the latter, and answer a lot of different questions along the way. I mean, is this a promise for all of us, or is this just a promise for the church at Philadelphia? How exactly is God going to fulfill his word? Is there any additional information in the book of Revelation itself which indicates he's going to keep his promise? And it's going to be, I think, a very exciting talk. And it's going to be heavy information on the front end, but it's just one of those things that the Lord has seen fit to give it by way of promise to his church, just to increase our hope in his any moment return, at this hour of human history. So it's really going to be an unpacking of Revelation chapter 3, verse 10.
And this seems to be a topic that the Lord has especially led you to kind of embark on. Like, I feel like one of the front runners of like the proof of the pre-tribulation rapture, and I feel like that didn't become a really controversial topic until really the last couple years. Especially, it used to be more allowed, more discussed, more something that people could kind of have differing opinions on, but now it's such a polarizing stance to have in Christianity. So really understanding the biblical basis for why we believe in a pre-tribulation rapture is becoming more and more important. So I'm really glad that you're taking the time to unpack that and to really give some people the meat of why we believe that specifically, because the enemy loves to just use people with the differing opinions to come back with really sharp arguments, and just not based in love, just based in attack. And so being able to biblically counter it, I think is really important. So I'm really glad you're going to do that.
Yeah, and you raised an interesting point, about the decibel level that's gone up regarding these issues. It's kind of interesting that people don't wage, aggressive, attacks against the mid-trib view, against the post-trib view, against the three-quarters rapture view.
Yeah.
It's always against the pre-trib view.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a pre-tribulationalist, like Prophecy Watchers is, like I am, you're always put on the defensive. And to me, that actually is proof that the pre-trib view is accurate, because that's what Satan, is trying to debunk.
Right.
I mean, nobody, counterfeits a $3 bill, because there's no actual $3 bill.
Yeah,
they counterfeit what's genuine. And so the fact that people are, and I totally agree with what you're saying, that conversation has moved away from being a collegial discussion into a war zone. And I would just like people to analyze why that's happening. I think it could be satanic in nature, and he's doing everything within his power during the church's final, moments on earth to debunk, the blessed hope of the church, which is the pre-tribulational rapture. And Revelation 3 and verse 10, is right in the middle of that civil war, so to speak, within Christendom.
Yeah, well, this is the time in which we are to take heart and to be encouraged and to be rooted in God's truth. So I think both of your messages are going to more than cover that, that people are looking for. And I know a lot of people are anticipating your messages. So we're so glad that you're going to be joining us in Florida. And we are just about out of time. But is there anything that you want to add about the messages or anything that you want to make sure we shared before our time is up?
Well, I'm thankful for prophecy watchers and groups, like-minded groups that are putting a spotlight on the end, uh, what God says about the end, because the Apostle Peter over in Second Peter chapter 1, verse 19, calls prophecy a lamp shining in a dark place that we would do well to pay attention to. And I'm very, very thrilled that the conference is sold out and is doing as well as it is, because I see it as the Lord moving his hand to get the church to focus on the future, because our future is very, very bright as Christians. And we need that hope, that lamp shining in a dark place. We need to pay attention to it, particularly now as the world moves into great, turmoil.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, and we are looking forward to having you in Florida for sure. And thank you all for tuning in today, and we will see you here, there, or in the air.